Okay. So, good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, Juergen. A very warm welcome to today's talk about investors. Juergen Kopeinig is an expert for investors. He is the CEO of Build, an incubator, and also of the Corinthian Venture Fund. This talk is one out of a series of expert talks in the framework of our 360-degree WEE project, which means Women Entrepreneurial Empowerment. And this project is an Erasmus Plus project and EU co-funded. Okay, so I would say, Juergen, you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your work, and then the participants can ask you their questions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you that you have time to listen to such a guy like me, somewhere in Carinthia. As Birgit was already mentioned, I am responsible for two companies. The one company is Build Gründungszentrum Kärnten GmbH, it's called. It's not an English name, I don't know why, but it's gendered since a few months. And yeah, in this company, we start in the ideation phase and end up in the scaling up phase of a startup. So what we do there is that we try to do a lot of entrepreneurship education, to do a lot of transfer education, together with that you find on an ideal basis deep tech startups out of the research groups in the university, because we have a lack in that field. I think in the field of education in general, a child in Austria don't get to less entrepreneurship education, to that they have this already in mind. That could be also a career path, and you don't find it in this orientation phase where what you will do in the future after the school, after the ground school and that. So yeah. There's a big lack, and therefore all these researchers don't have in their mind that they could transfer the research into entrepreneurship, into a company. And so we invest a lot in that. Not only deep tech, also platforms, social innovation things, because that compared, for example, with technology aspects, with platform aspects, this could be also somehow a scalable business at the end of the day. So this is the first thing we focus on. And if we find such people who would like to start something, whatever, and they have an idea about something, about a product or about a service they would like to develop, or maybe they found some solutions for a problem, or have an idea to find a solution for a problem out of our society, then we put them in a short program. It's a pre-incubation program. It's called Build Up. There they get such a couple of workshops where they come from this ideation phase into, let's say, it's a rough business model they could develop in that. And there's an important aspect. We put them together with other people, so in the same stage, so that they get out the profit from each other, because they ask relevant questions, they ask how you proceed, and so they have they're in the same stage of their development, and they have to handle the same problems. So, and this exchange is also important. And out of our startup coaches, they get some inputs. So about for the important things, about, for example, the team development. Often there are two technical guys, they would like to start a company, and they would develop a perfect product. Nobody knows maybe if there's a market for that. So, or how they will sell that, for example. So we put also a lot of effort regarding this team card, let's say it like that, because this is also relevant for the investor side at a later stage. But also we put a lot of things about financing thing, a lot about the market thing then and the market aspects. But in this first stage, in this pre-incubation, it's the first step, and this is more on the technical base of the product. So the development on that and how to build a product out of that. And then in this build incubator, we have a funding program. It's called Move, and it's called Run. And we work there with a model from Cambridge, and it's called Triple Chasm model. I don't know if you have heard about that. Maybe you've heard about the technology readiness level, and this model takes this into account, and you could imagine it like a spider graph with 16 pillars, different pillars. For example, IP management, sales, strategy, team, relevant things. Also green, for example, and so on. And what we do is at this stage, before they come into this incubation phase, we try to figure out where they are. So, and based on this technology readiness level and commercial readiness level, and this is the highest score is 9. So if you have technology and commercial readiness level of 9, the product and the service is fully developed and you generate the first cash flows. If you stay at 2 or 3, you have something like demonstrator or a prototype, not more. So, and then we say, okay, you as a startup, you are in this phase or in this stage. Then, and this research model from Cambridge tell us, because they ask, I think, 50,000 companies, and out of that they make this model, and they say, okay, the score where you should be, for example, in the pillar IP management, should be on 7 or whatever. And we look with the startup together into that startup and into their development and say, okay, maybe you have just reached the score of 3. And then okay, regarding the phase you are, I should be at 7, so I have to do such things to develop my IP management in that phase. So, and I have to think about that because this is important at that stage. In later stages, technology and commercial readiness level, maybe 7 or 8, there is more the focus on sales and sales strategy and the market perspectives all around that. So, and we work with this model. And if you're earlier, you go in this Move program, and if you're later, you go in the Run program. So move means, okay, you move, just do a product and the service which you could sell. And Run is more how you could scale it on that stage. So yeah, and then you get some funding and money, and you get a mentor on the phase you are, which supports you. The mentors comes from the research field or from enterprises, established enterprises. And so this is also another aspect you get into the development of your startup. We also have an academy. So, for example, for negotiation training, for example, there we have a 2-day specific workshop. And this academy thing is for all startups open. So it's not relevant in which stage you are. If you are in this MOVE program, for example, you get specific workshops regarding your phase. And you are always together with the startups which are in the same phase. So in this academy thing, you get a more generalistic education on a more generalistic issue, like negotiation training, for example. But you meet the other startups from other stages. So there is also an important peer-to-peer learning effect, and which we focus on. So we also try always to do this peer-to-peer learning to establish that through the whole process. Yeah, we have a funding program for them. They get money, for example, 10,000 euros, and this 10,000 euros, this 10,000 euros, we order that for the startup based on the roadmap we develop together with the startup. For example, come back to this IP management to develop this pillar. Maybe you need a lawyer or something like that to develop that. Then we say, okay, you have a package of 10,000 euros. We could order a lawyer for the specific issue out of your package of 10,000 euros, and then the lawyer will give you the support you need, and then this pillar could be developed. So the startup has nothing to do with that, with this bureaucratic things, and we get the money back from the government. So it's very specific consulting acquisition. Let's call it like that. Yeah, and then we have specific workshops. We have also infrastructure. We give them for free, for example, a co-working space or an office, what they all need in this phase. Yeah, and we have some events where they could also participate, some pitchings. We bring them also to pitching events, but very focused, because startups are already, everybody wants them, and they are not so much there, and they have to take care about their time. Yeah, that's more or less built. And if you comes out of this incubation phase, you should be standalone. What we do also in this incubation phase is that we have a look to, because how they would like to proceed after they go out of the incubation phase, because they have, maybe they are not investment ready, maybe not. They have no salary they earn so far. So we have to look at funding regimes in Austria, in the region of Carinthia, to enable, together with them, access to funding. It could be a grant, it could be a research grant, it could be. So we have a funding institution in Carinthia. It's called the Carinthian Economic Promotion Fund, and we have also on the governmental base, on the national level, also funding agencies, and yeah, this is an important step, that they get really a good funding into their company, that they go the next step. Yeah. And one additional aspect is the Carinthian Venture Fund. This is also, but this is risk. This is equity capital, venture capital. This is, we take shares out of the company, not so much, of course, because we don't want to destroy the company. If you take in the first round 30%, the company is dead. Nobody will invest in the next round. So therefore, we take up to 10%, not more. And yeah, and this is a classic venture capital. We have always to do that because we have public money in that fund. We have to do it always together with a private investor. The European Union say to us, you have to invest like a private investor, and therefore we have to take the same rules and the same terms and conditions also over from the private investor. We have to invest like a private investor. So this is our rule. And also we have to take, we also could invest only in Carinthia companies which have a connex to Carinthia. If a company in Malta, we had such a case just a couple of months ago. There was a startup founded in Malta, and we wanted to invest in that company. And yeah, but if they we establish a subsidiary here in Carinthia, it's not a problem. We could invest in that if the money we invest is more or less create an added value in the Carinthian economic. So if with that money the startup employee two people or such things, so the money will be here. So this is not a problem. We could argue that regarding our public owners. Yeah. So far we have we have done 8 investments. We are very young. We started this fund in 2022, and yeah, the restriction is, I already mentioned it, we could only invest into Carinthian or Carinthian Connex startups or SMEs. But yeah, so far it's not. Yeah, I could not say to my owners, to my main shareholders, that we would generate profit out of that fund because of these obligations we have. So, and the fund volume is 12 millions, and with this 12 millions, we also have to pay for the employees we have in the fund and so on. So there is maybe 9 million investment money. So and with 9 million investment money and with these restrictions, it's not possible to make really a big diversification in equity investments. That yeah, but maybe there will be on Facebook or Amazon in that equity investments. But yeah, we will see. Maybe after 10 years. So the investment horizon is 8 to 10 years. So, and we would like to go out. That is the reason why we only take 5 to 10% somehow, because there on an ideal basis there will come a bigger investor and we go out of the investment. So it is our strategy, more or less. So we give support in the first phase where they have not so much access to risk capital, to venture capital. Yeah. So this is the main focus on the currency and venture. So we have the full line from the build incubator, from the ideation phase, where we try to find people which would like to be an entrepreneur. And then we go through the product and service development until they build up a scalable business. They look for funding and financing through grants, loans, and venture capital. So this is the full journey we could support. This journey. Yeah. So in build we have somehow around 25 startups a year. So just to have a figure here. And in the venture fund, we have now 8 investments. Yeah. So that we do 3 to 4 per year. Let's say it like that. And now we try to get also, because Carinthia is, the people in Carinthia always go to Vienna or to Graz, and these young people never will come back. So we have really a problem here on the demographic side. Because they start there to work, they work there, or they start the business there. So this is really a handicap. And there's also, because our university in Klagenfurt, there are, I think, 12,000 students, and then we have the University of Applied Sciences with around 2,500 students. So it's not so much potential, let's say it like that. In Vienna, for example, you have the Technical University, which with around, I think, nearly 30,000 students. So there's another potential for startups than we have here in Carinthia. And also in Graz, there's an university landscape. It's much bigger than in Carinthia. But maybe the core Alm, yeah, this would be our big chance, maybe, to get the people back from Graz, at least.
That's a train connection for the ones from Malta. That's
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
a new built train connection from the city of Graz to Klagenfurt, and it takes only 45 minutes, or?
Yeah, something. I think 42 minutes, maybe. Yeah.
Mm. And Graz is the capital of Styria, another region of Austria.
Yeah. And a lot of people go to Graz for studying, and a lot of them never come back. It's a problem for Carinthia, but maybe it will change. Yeah, this was a short introduction into these companies. If you have some, I don't know if you understand everything what I'm saying, because I'm not a native speaker, but yeah, if there's some questions regarding that. Well, I don't know what you're interested in. For the Carinthia Venture Fund, maybe I could add that we do a ticket size of up to 500,000 euros. So when we do an investment, we have a normal investment process. But it's a two-phase process. So in the first phase, we get a pitch deck, and with this pitch deck, I'm not allowed to decide about the investment. We have an investment committee. It consists of five people with different competences, and we, as the portfolio, the management team, we prepare the cases, we bring them into this investment committee, and the investment committee decide if we invest or not. So this is just for this process, and we have two phases for that. The first phase will be just a pitch deck and a little bit information about the business plan, and we could go in the first phase investment committee, and they decide, okay, yeah, it's interesting, we go deeper. Then we do the due diligence process. We define that, which due diligence we are interested in. Normally, it's legal. The legal due diligence, it's always to do. I think it's this. And therefore we do it not by our own. So we ordered it from outside, from a consultant, from a lawyer, and but we just do a red flag due diligence. So this person screen all the contracts the company have, and say, okay, oh, there's a red flag, attention. Then we put the solution into the contract with the company, then the investment contract. So to solve that. Sometimes we do technical due diligence when there's a product or a service we not really understand, because there's a broad range of services and products. For example, these days with artificial intelligence, so is this just a word in the pitch deck, or is it more, or what is the technology behind, and what these guys are using, and so on. You could not follow all the technology aspects in a business case, and therefore we need also support for the technical due diligence somehow. The financial due diligence we always do mainly by our own, because it's about figures, and we know a lot about figures, so that's not such a problem. The difficultest part, I think, it's the commercial due diligence, because this is somehow to find out a projection of the market or such things, and therefore you have to find the right people who will do that. And we had some experience. For example, you order that from a consultancy company, and they prepare you a PowerPoint presentation out of 100 slides and say, oh, what is the market and what's going on. So, it's very, the added value, it's discussable, I think. So therefore we didn't do that very often. We just asked more the startup about, or the SME about the market perspectives and such things. So we go deeper by questionnaires and questioning the investment target. Yeah. And if you have done all this due diligence process, then we put also, or we wrote also a term sheet. So we will put all the terms inside. And during this process, we also have to find a co-investor because of this obligation I mentioned before. We have to find a private co-investor. We have some in our network. We share the pitch deck, for example, with them, and if they are interested, okay, we found them in co-investor. But also the SME or the startup could bring one. Yeah, and then we have also to negotiate with this co-investor the terms and conditions they like to have, and then the final product is a term sheet. And then we go in the second phase of the investment committee, and there will be then a decision made to invest in the company or not. But if we are at that step, I think there is no way back. So there was no investment case, I think, until now, where the investment committee said no. Yeah. Maybe we do a second round and okay, no, okay, we have to analyze another aspect and we come back then in the next investment committee meeting. Yeah. And we are able to and this is also maybe important or interesting. This currency venture fund, in former times it was called the Barbeck Venture Fund, it was another name, and it was in an add-on of an established company, and just a separate cost center. And the structure was very complicated because also this established company has a committee who decide such things. They had an investment committee. After the investment committee, they had to go to the committee of the company. Then the committee of the company maybe ask some questions. Then they have to go back. Then they go to the investment committee. Then they go again to the committee of the. So this was a ping pong, yeah, all the time. So it was very difficult. This was the reason why they decided to make this currency venture for GmbH as their own company to be very fast and also this committee meetings from this established company, they were, I think, only every 6 months or something like that. So the investment target has to wait a very long time until they get feedback from if there would be an investment or not. And we as a private company now, but working with public money, we could decide very fast. So we could invite an investment committee meeting just 7 days before, and then we have a decision. So it's very fast, a fast process. But from our experience, we see that the normal process takes 3 to 6 months, and I think this is a normal process. And we have some business interests in currency say, if I want, I could invest until over the weekend. Have fun, yeah. Do it on a pitch deck base, yeah. I think this is not. I think this, yeah. Maybe it could be true, but I don't believe that. With my money, I don't would do that. Yeah,
Are there a lot of business angel in Carinthia?
yeah, there are a lot of, and this is maybe you know some of them. For example, Bernd Hinteregger is one. Maybe one of these hotels. He was in this Pulse 4 show, 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What about,
Mhm.
yeah, he's one, or there are some of them, but
Mhm.
and there are also some investors, they are hidden. Investors, good investors, they don't want to be visible.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. And yeah. And so it's hard to build a network around this. But yeah, we just started with that. Let's say it like that. And you have a lot of people with money. So, for example, owners of companies which run good, they have money for tickets, for example, about 100,000 euros they would like to invest. So, and now we try to give them a process because these are people, they run their established company. So, and they have money, but they have no process. How they should do a due diligence or such things, how they should organize that, how they should. So they have a not they also have not the time maybe because they are focused on their own business. And this is also what we offer the currency venture for. We offer the process for that. So you would be the private co-investor, and we do the process, and we integrate you in our governance process. So this is our offer to these private investors too. So yeah, this is also a role we take over. And we have a lot of money around the Wörthersee Lake. So um, we, but we are not so far. But in our mind, we would like to go to them, knock on the door, say, okay, you have a lot of money. Would you be interested to act like a co-investor? Yeah, but we didn't do it. We didn't yeah, do it so far. And but we also contact the, I don't know the English name for that, or English term, the private Privatstiftungen that yeah, I don't know the English name for that.
Not
So
sure.
that they,
The name is a different one. I was search for it.
yeah, okay. And but they are often because these Privatstiftungen, they have a lot of money. They have their portfolio, for example, um, houses and companies in there and so such things. But they are often very bureaucratic, and they are often managed guided by older people. They are very risk averse, so they don't like risks because we also offered them the process to invest into startups. So, like I already mentioned it before, but yeah, there's a little bit they don't like this so much. This is too
Private,
risk.
sorry, private foundation.
Private foundations, okay, and they don't like this risk, so they
Okay.
like more to invest into to buy a house or something like that.
A house on Wörthersee.
So
Jürgen, what's your experience? Are the investors or also the Corinthian Venture Fund, are they more interested in investing in highly technological projects or also in other top projects, other topics?
I think an investment case is only then there when you have a scale level business. But from our experience is that you often could imagine that at a step in an early investment phase. So you believe in it or not?
Mhm, mhm.
We invested in a company, a lot of money. They had a revenue of about 3.5 million. So the market was already established. There are a lot of IP in the background. I don't know if you know that company. Maybe I remember Jet. There was
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Scuba Jet. Scuba
Ah,
Jet was the
okay,
name.
yeah, of course, of
And so
course.
it's maybe also interesting for Malta because they had this diving. There was a diving machine like was you also could use it for the sub, for example, as an outside engine. And yeah, but the market situation in the maritime market was very difficult 2.5 years ago, and therefore the business go down very fast. So they were established, yeah? And it looked like a scalable business, yeah. But yeah, bad luck. Yeah, but the investors, of course, they are looking for the scalable business, I think. But it must not be deep tech, I think. It could be also other services or products. Also
Anna
on
was
need.
raising her hand. Sorry, Anna was raising her hand.
Yeah.
If I may ask, I would like to ask more about build, because I got referenced a lot to this, but I stopped myself all the time from going there because I thought it's more for Starbucks and companies. Is there any possibility for a person who plans a self-employment also come and learn from build? I don't know, go to the workshops and maybe get a mentor or something like that. Because what I got from the impression is that it's more for companies and the groups, and that's why I, as planning for myself and publishing self-employment, I didn't even consider to go to build. But maybe you can tell me if I could consider.
Yeah, okay. So it depends a little bit on that, what you plan to do. It should have an innovative aspect in it. If you would like to establish a business like a hairdresser, it's not enough, for example, just to have an example on that. But if you combine it maybe with artificial intelligence, could be interesting. Maybe. How you use data maybe from this person's you cut the hairs or something like that. So it should have an innovative aspect on it. It must not have deep technology aspect on it. It could be also social innovation things. So all this combined, maybe a little, but it's a lot about data and a lot about yeah. So and this you could integrate in, I think, nearly every product so far, every service so far. I'm not sure what you are planning to do, but
I wrote a book and I want to publish in future more books. So
okay.
so that's why I'm asking if I could kind of educate myself more with build, or I should do it on my other side. Why? Because I'm at the moment planning self-employment. It might grow to, I don't know, eco-friendly publishing on demand service, or I don't know, an integration, a coffee shop where authors from Carinthia will be communicating. However, at the moment, it's just self-employment from my point of view.
Okay. I think we have to look deeper on that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but build is very open for just to. So it starts always with a first talk. Let's say it like that. If you say, okay, I would like to talk to a startup coach, then this is of course. So, and the startup coaches will ask you some questions regarding your product or service, what you plan, and so. But it's important also to have an innovative aspect on it. So, because just to have an, let's say it like that, you wrote a book and you will publish the book and you make a coffee shop also. So this is more or less the Chamber of Commerce company clientele, and they will support you maybe more on that. And but for us, it's more it has to be a scalable aspect. You sell a book, you could also earn money during your sleep. Yeah, that's sure. Yeah, but if you work in a coffee shop, you don't earn money during sleeps.
Obviously.
So I try to describe it like that. But maybe you could combine such things. I'm not sure at the moment.
Okay.
think about. But for this first, it's for free.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get
Got it.
feedback. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and yeah.
Mhm.
Please
Thank you. I will keep it in mind.
Yeah, wrote me an email and then.
Thank you. But innovation is important, so I will keep it in mind then.
Yeah, innovation is important. So maybe you will establish a new, different coffee shop. I don't know where you. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. But
But
thank you for
maybe.
your answer.
Yeah, but you could think about in creative ways.
Yeah.
What could be additional services which would be scalable and create an added value?
For me, what I recently find out is that there is not that much print-on-demand companies in Europe, generally, not only in Austria, that are offering eco services in a way that the book is built from recyclable paper or used better colors that harm less
Okay.
our environment. So I thought about that as well. But yeah, I have no idea at the moment. I just did a quick search for my personal book of publishing because I wanted to publish it more eco, and I thought that there is not that much option. So that maybe.
Yeah, but this is a problem
Yeah.
you could solve. So you could establish such a company which offers that. Maybe in combination with established printing companies. Yeah? To use this infrastructure maybe because not to build an own
Yeah.
printing company because this costs a lot of money maybe, but you could maybe create a business model
Mhm.
to use this infrastructure from established companies. They also will earn money out of that for sure.
Yeah.
To share something like that with them, but you could focus on that target group, maybe like you, for example, I could print. So maybe this could be a niche for because these printing companies only focus on mass
Yeah.
book production, but this could be a niche product where you could use maybe capacities in
The
times
smaller
they don't
ones.
use it or something like that. So you could create a business model around that.
Mhm.
And the coffee shop could be integrated maybe in this printing company where you could look where
Mhm.
you print it. I don't know. Just
Yeah, that's a
so
good idea. Thank you.
whatever. Have a walk. I don't know what. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah. So
Thank
you
you.
could
Thank you
create
so
a lot
much.
around
Yeah.
that, but this and then you have an innovative aspect in
Mhm.
this service and product, and it's not only about printing a book.
Mhm. That is also something. Mhm.
Maybe it's also combined with a story around that or with data in behind on that or whatever.
Mhm.
And if with this target group like you, there's a market.
I do hope so.
Yeah, for sure. Sure, there's a market.
Mm.
Because yeah, if you look at this printing colors or they are not, I think they are really not very healthy.
Yeah. Very helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But you also have a competition from the ebook sector, maybe.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
for
sure.
sure.
So you have to take care about that.
Mm.
Yeah, but these are also aspects in the development where you talk together with Build and because you also have in Build a startup coach which is responsible for you, and this will be a challenging person for you. This would be an additional team member. Let's say it like that. This startup coach will not tell you what you have to do, but they will ask you some questions, which
Yeah.
makes your mind open and
Mhm.
start this creativity
Mhm.
process in your mind
Mhm.
too.
And from your experience, should I consider starting my own, or I should already start searching for a person who would be interested as well? Because I see usually that people start like 3 of them, 2 of them, that they have like a support group, let's say. But if I, for example, don't know anybody at the moment who could be interested in working with me, should I start alone or should I maybe search first for the person and then come to build?
No, I think you should start alone if you have
Mm-hmm.
nobody so far. But you have a lack in competences.
Yeah,
Because you
sure.
have your competences, but I think you will need additional competences
Mm-hmm.
to establish that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what their background is, but then yeah, this is important in a team that
Yeah.
you have additional competences. We at Build, we think a lot about the team building or team development or how to find your co-founder. Let's say that's
Yeah.
that. Because it's often not easy. And but I think this is also a career path for students who finish a study and whatever. But there is nothing around. There's nothing there in the work so
Mm-hmm.
far, what I know. And but yeah, we have this in the development phase of build, but yeah, it needs time to establish it, to establish format or develop a format, how this could be.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's only a platform, I'm not sure if this is working.
Yeah.
But there must be more on that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is an issue which is really important because this problem, people have this problem. Yeah. But come around to, you have been in Lexapag so far?
I'm actually working there in Trinitech.
You're working. So it's just
And they actually started with you, so they both of them told me like if I wanted to, they could forward me, but I was not sure if I qualified, let's say.
okay. So you work in which company you work in Lexapag?
Trinitech with Klaus
Trinitech.
Reinmüller and Bert Buchegger.
Yeah, both of them were built. Were built.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Klaus wanted to start an additional startup, I think just 1 year, 2 years ago.
That's I'm not sure. He's now working on generally some other way of bringing a Trinitech, but I think he decided to bring it into Trinitech, so I'm not sure
Yeah,
he
he
wants another
decided.
startup. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
his assistant in this way.
Okay, that's cool. So I think you have the right background to start their own company.
Thanks. Hopefully.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions from the other ladies?
Yes,
Rebecca.
I would have some. I'm on the way of starting my own business, and now that you just mentioned investors, it got my mind going. What kind of companies do investors really want to invest in? At which stage should the company be? And are they really interested in financing the company in terms of or only financially, or are they also open for mentorships and more guidance to start a company? How does it work in real life in Austria?
This- so if the venture funds are different somehow. Some of them invest in very early stages and they are focused on early stages, but that are not so much, I think. And some of them focus maybe in later stages where there is more there to evaluate. And but it's different. From the Carinthian venture fund, for example, we don't care about the phase. So we invest in early stage, later stage, doesn't matter. What we are looking for is, which is important, is the team and the case itself. So if you have just a project business, for example, where the revenue never grow, this would be not an investment case, for example. So you have to have a scalable business. That is what we are looking for, yes. So what the first question that was also the first question. I don't remember.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned the first question. Or is it
You
fully-
answered it. You answered it fully. So I was rather interested in what kind of companies are they interested in, but I got my answer from your answer
Yeah.
already. Thank you very much.
But some of the investors have also an focus on some branches or some businesses, and yeah. But yeah, the question which was not answered was that because if we act only as a financial investor, or if we have an additional content aspect with us, we as a currency manager we are more or less a financial investor.
Mhm.
Because we could challenge you a little bit if we invest in your company. We always take a seat in such a committee role, not to decide a lot about your company, but just to give you some feedback on the development of a company. We have a network, a regional network. We could help with that. But if you look, for example, at an investor which was, for example, in the electronic business for a long time, he started his own company, then he grew up his own company, then he had a lot of business contacts around the world. And if this guy invests in your company and your company is also in this field active, where the investors come from, then you get a lot of support, you get a lot of network, you get a lot of connections. So this is also what you have to take into account in this searching phase of the investor. Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely. It's a very complex question.
Yeah, but yeah. Sometimes we have also co-investors which are strategic investors. But this is also maybe difficult because the strategic investors has his own interest into growing up the company. But the strategic investor maybe don't like the company will be taken over from an other strategic investor. So this is who would be in the same phase, in the same branch. Then a strategic investor is always a little bit critical, I think. Otherwise, it helps you in the development of product and service because this gives you additional support into your company, into your development. Yeah. But I think the best way is an more or less independent investor, which has also these content aspects with him.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh.
Jelena is raising her hand. Jelena?
Sorry, I was on mute. I tried to unmute myself. Okay, so I have one question. Is there anything related to fashion? I mean, I don't know if I can, I can find any help related to that.
In Build, we had a startup, for example, it's called Stylebot. They work together with, or try to work together with Zalando and such companies. They would to digitalize I don't know the English name, where you put all your clothes at home, yeah, you put it in a Kleiderschrank, in a
Wardrobe.
exactly, and they would like to digitalize that, and but then there is needed that Zalando, for example, or Boss or whatever, has to give a digital tag on your clothes,
Mhm.
so that it would be easier that this would be digitalized. Yeah. So. And related on the weather and related on whatever and your style, the digitalization app, this digitalized app, would support you in what you would like to select for the day. Yeah. So there's already a startup in that field, for example, in build.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And where I
So,
can get more information about this.
I could offer you the same. You can write me an email, then there would be a first introduction talk to the startup coach, and then you say, okay, what you plan to do, and then we will see if we could help on that.
Okay.
Maybe you also already working in the Lakeside Park, then it would be.
No, I mean,
Where you are in Malta, okay.
but you never know.
Yeah, you have to go to Carinthia then.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Juergen, what's your email address? Juergen.kopeinig@bild.or.at.
Yeah.
I will send. Is it right?
No, it's not right because
sorry.
build it with an D.
With the D. Okay. Okay, sorry. Juergen.
Juergen.
Oh, jetzt habe ich wieder falsch gemacht.
Yeah,
Now,
it's a little bit long. You could also take me. Yeah, that is correct.
But I have already shared the website, and on the website of Build, you find all the contact data.
Or CVF,
Mhm.
www.cvf.at. Also there.
I've shared it on WhatsApp, I think, at least on WhatsApp, maybe also Irene shared it via email.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Jelena, your hand is still raised. Do you have any other question, or is it okay? You are muted again.
I think she had to go. She wrote that she needs to go.
Yeah, she
So
wrote
I
it,
guess
but
it was from the before
okay, but
that she forgot to put it down.
let me get out. Okay. Any more questions?
Maybe I have a curiosity.
Flavia?
Hi, yes. What is I don't know, the most important tip for foreigners who want to start a business in Austria, like in terms of, I don't know, cultural habits of doing business in Austria?
You already have a company, or you would like to establish?
No, I don't, and I am working on my product.
You're working on a product you would like to bring into a company, in your own company, and then you would like to start a business on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. It's the same. If you would like to have support from Build, you could join.
No, I meant like from a cultural
habit.
perspective,
Yeah.
because for example, I'm from Italy, so maybe I could say, I don't know, Italians are generally, I don't know, seem very loud,
No.
but we're also very formal in business. So formality is also very important when you approach people in Italy. So I was thinking, I don't know, for foreigners who are not maybe very used to the Austrian business culture, if there's anything that comes to your mind.
I think because I think Anna could prove that. I think because for example in Lakeside Park, I think there are a lot of some Italians also there. Also in the university, the Alma University, there are a lot of Italians studying there. Or also in Build, for example, we have a very diverse startup there. There are 2 Italian guys, then one from Slovenia and one from Carinthia. So that is our role model. And I think this is, I think in the lecture park, they are very open, and on the university and research institutions in Carinthia. So there I don't have any experience about that this should be a problem. No, for sure not, because as I mentioned before, Carinthia and also Austria. I heard that Austria is the only country in Europe which lose people. So
Which
we are
part? Sorry, which?
we lose people. We
Which?
are
Okay, yeah.
wir schrumpfen. Also wir
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Austria is the only country in Europe.
Okay.
So this is not very good. So
Mhm.
we need additional guys who come to Austria, and it is so, yeah.
And I think it's more dependent on the field where you work, more dependent than on the ethnic culture. That's my experience.
Yeah. But I think just also in the startup field, this year we get a lot of applications from African people. They also already studying in the Silicon Austria labs. For example, they're working in Silicon Austria labs, or they're studying on university in Klagenfurt. So I think this is cool.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. But of course, there are Carinthian paths. You could forget them, but you have not be there because this is somewhere in the valleys. So I think Klagenfurt and Villach are very safe, because also in Villach, the Italians are very welcome all the time.
And Flavia is based in Vienna.
Huh?
Flavia
Flavia is based in Vienna. Okay.
Yes, I live in Vienna.
You live in Vienna.
Sorry?
You have to move to Carinthia. Now you do what you want. But yeah. But it's but it could also, maybe if you would like to have startup support, you get it also in Vienna, because there's a sister company or something like that. Call it that, like that. It's the Inits. Maybe you've heard about that.
No.
They're focused on more health tech and artificial intelligence tech. So yeah, we work also together with them. So if you need something from Vienna supporting structures, you could also call us or even send an email or something.
Thank you very much. For
Maybe I
now,
could
I'm just
connect
at the
with you.
very, very beginning of getting my ideas together.
Yeah, but it's good that you come together with other people who are generating their ideas, because I always say, if I sit alone in my room, so it would be like I would not develop something. I'm sure. So,
Yeah. I mean, actually, this training was fantastic in that sense.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, because you're diverse people, and I think you profit from each other.
Yes.
It's a cool formats. Yeah.
Great.
And this
Thank you very
could
much.
bring you further. Huh? Nothing else. People who ask difficult questions, or questions we don't, never mind. That's good.
It's always good to communicate and to talk to each other. And they are getting new ideas from other sides, getting to know new perspectives.
You.
Okay. So, Juergen, thank you so much for investing your precious time with us, for us. So
it was a pleasure for me. Thank you very much. If you have some questions, you have this. I put also the two websites in the chat, and they find also the contact data. And please feel free to contact us if you need any support, network, also from Vienna or whatever, other parts in Austria. We're also connected to Tirol or Salzburg, Vorarlberg,
to Malta also. somehow.
Marta.
Hello, sorry, I joined really late. I was stuck at another conference and I had to get my daughter from school, but points being made.
Okay.
I think you arrived maybe.
Thank you.
We cannot hear you so well, Liam.
Really believe around the next generation of legal lawyers and elevating tech solutions. So next time I speak more, but thanks for having me.
Thank you for participating, Liam. Okay. So thank you to all ladies also for participating and for being so much interested in what was Juergen talking about, and also for being interested in our project. And again, Juergen, thank you so much to be with us on this sunny summer day, but outside it's too warm anyway, isn't it?
Very warm. It's like a heat wave.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.